Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a fascinating excerpt from an ancient text to uncover what is, at its very core, a true cosmic detective story. We all know the broad strokes of the events in Eden, right? But today, we're going to look at the exact psychological triggers and the specific chain of events that led to the ultimate betrayal in paradise. We're going straight to the source material to decode the devil's actual motive against Adam.
So let's dive into this mystery by completely shifting our focus. Usually when we discuss this narrative, we focus entirely on the crime itself, the temptation, the fall, the whole shebang. But we really need to ask a much more intriguing question. Why did he do it? What was the precise psychological motive behind this crime? Because to understand a crime of this magnitude, you absolutely have to profile both the victim and the perpetrator and trace the exact thoughts that led up to the event.
Section 1. Adam, Lord on earth.
All right, to understand the crime, we've got to look at the victim first. According to the text, Adam wasn't just casually dropped into a garden. God created a garden in Eden in the east specifically for him to observe the testament and keep the command. But just imagine these conditions for a second. God made the heavens literally open up to him. He was surrounded by angels, singing a song of victory, and he existed in this state of gloomless light. That phrase is just incredible. It perfectly captures a flawless, completely unshadowed existence.
And the crucial point here is captured perfectly in the text. Adam was Lord on earth to rule and control it. He wasn't just a resident, he was the sovereign. God had handed over paradise to him, granting him absolute authority over this brand new world. He was continuously in paradise, functioning as its actual ruler. We have to keep this incredibly high status in mind, because, as you'll see, it's exactly what catches the attention of our antagonist.
Which brings us to Section 2, Satanael, the fugitive spirit.
The text gives us a highly specific definition of our antagonist. It identifies the devil by the name Satanael, who later became Sotana. He's explicitly defined as the evil spirit of the lower places. But really notice the terminology they use here. He is a fugitive made from the heavens. He actually used to be up there, but he fell, becoming fundamentally different from those angels who are currently singing songs of victory for Adam.
Think about the stark contrast between our two figures. It paints a picture of intense cosmic inequality. On one side, you have Adam, bathed in gloomless light, heavens wide open to him, holding the grand title of Lord on earth. And then, on the exact opposite side of the spectrum, you've got Satanael, a fugitive, relegated to the lower places, carrying the massive weight of his own condemnation. It is the absolute perfect recipe for envy.
Now get this, because here is a massive revelation from the source. When Satanael became different from the angels, his nature did not change his intelligence as far as his understanding of righteous and sinful things. This means his fall didn't just turn him into some mindless, instinct-driven monster. Not at all. He retained his perfect, acute understanding of right and wrong. He knew exactly what a sin was.
Section 3. The devil's motive revealed.
Because he kept that intelligence, the text outlines his premeditation perfectly in 3 very logical steps. Step 1. Satanael observed Adam and understood that God wanted to create another world, a world where Adam was Lord to rule and control it. Step 2. Looking at this perfect new creation, he deeply understood his own condemnation and the sin he had previously committed. He clearly saw what he had lost. And step 3, because of that agonizing contrast, he conceived thought against Adam. This wasn't some random accident. It was a cold, calculated thought birthed from seeing a new world he couldn't have, while sitting in his own condemnation.
Moving on to Section 4, the seduction of Eva.
The execution here was highly tactical. After conceiving that thought against Adam, he puts his plan into motion. In such a form, he enters and seduces Eva. But noticeably, and this is absolutely key, the text explicitly states that he did not touch Adam. He conceived the thought against Adam, the Lord of the earth, but his method of attack was entirely indirect. He bypassed the ruler completely to target Eva, ensuring his plot was carried out without a direct confrontation with the guy holding the gloomless right.
And finally, Section 5, the final surprising verdict.
Let's really break down the nuance of God's final judgment here, because it wasn't just a blanket destruction. Consider what actually falls under God's curse. He cursed ignorance. He cursed man's evil fruit, and he cursed his works. But arguably way more important is what is explicitly on the not cursed side of things. God states he did not curse what he had blessed previously. He did not curse man himself. He did not curse the earth, and he didn't curse other creatures.
The judgment was, well, surgically precise. Let's review the exact quote to really cement this idea. I cursed not man, nor the earth, nor other creatures, but man's evil fruit and his works. The text is incredibly explicit here, guys. God actively separates the pristine creation, the man, the earth, the creatures, from the corrupt actions that took place within it. The curse targets the behavior, the works, and the evil fruit born from the devil's plot, leaving the actual core of the creation itself completely uncursed by God.
And that brings us to the end of our analysis, leaving us with this massive, lingering thought to chew on. If God specifically stated that he only cursed ignorance and evil works, but absolutely did not curse man himself or the earth, how does that exact wording reshape everything we thought we knew about this ancient story? It really challenges us to separate the flawed actions of humanity from the inherent, uncursed value of humanity itself. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I hope this deep dive into the source text sparked a brand new perspective for you today. Keep questioning and keep learning.